everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all the views, likes, and comments. I really appreciate it, and I really put forth my gratitude and thank you to everybody. So, today's video is going to be a long awaited video for which I got a lot of emails and a lot of texts on LinkedIn primarily. That Didi, please give us the tips on how to ace any interview. So today I am here and I am going to bring you with 5 tips that you can adapt to ace any interview, be it your CA articleship, be it your college placements, or even after qualifying as a CA. You will need these 5 interview tips. Okay, so let's start with a very basic one and a very generalized tip to always be prepared. Okay, the course of any interview is going to be dependent on the very factor that how are you presenting yourself, right? So whenever you're presenting yourself, the first thing and the first step is to be prepared well, right? Now, prepared well has different segments. Here I'm talking only about your preparation for the interview, okay, the questions that they're going to ask, right? Now, with a broad focus on CA intermediate students who are now CA finalists and are wanting to get into Big Fours or Big Tens and are aiming for articleship in, suppose, stat audit domain or tax domain or any domain for that matter. So, what should be your interview preparation schedule? See, ideally, you should focus on the ICAI study material, and there are tons of PDFs floating around in the market where they've compiled 200 or 100 pages of questions that can be asked in any interview, right? You can refer that if you have more time, but your primary focus should always be your CA intermediate books. Okay, the reason is pretty simple. Anything that is asked in an interview that is related to your articleship will never be beyond your CA intermediate syllabus. The reason is very simple. You do not have any experience whatsoever of work. You have no knowledge of the practical life. The criteria for your selection is only going to be your CA inter mark sheet, which is how many attempts did you take, what were your exemptions, or the ratio of the total of the number of subjects you have had exemptions and the total number of subjects, right? All these are deciding factors, right? But at the end of the day, when an interviewer is wanting to choose you among 4 or 5 candidatures, why will he choose you? Because you have knowledge and you are willing to express that knowledge. So there are 2 things. You must have knowledge, one thing. Second thing is you need to express it, right? So to be able to express it, you need confidence, and confidence tabhi aayega when you know that you have read this in the CA intermediate classes and you've revised it adequately, right? So once you have had enough revisions, you have put forth all the efforts which you wanted to make during your CA inter preparation and you've revised everything well enough, definitely you're going to ace any interview. Okay, so the first thing is always to prioritize your CA intermediate material, and for qualified CAs you can always refer to your CA final study material as well as whichever domain you were in, whichever work you were assigned. So whatever work you used to do, practical exposure to things, software and everything that you used, okay, how to suppose how to make work papers and everything, okay, what are the procedures that you adapt, everything. I'm into audit, so that is why my area of focus is inclined towards audit. But yeah, qualified CAs, this video is definitely going to help you too if you are willing to take advice from CA finalist only. Okay, so the second thing is presentation. Okay, the way you present yourself. To ace any interview, you have to make sure that the presentation starts before you even present yourself in front of the interviewer. Now, how that's done? You have to make sure that whenever your CV goes in, okay, your CV speaks for yourself, right? Your CV must be ATS friendly. It should be clear, neat. It should have all the important points in bold or underline, and whatever you think is going to make you stand out from the crowd, you should mention it. Okay, it doesn't matter if you didn't win a particular competition, but even if even if you're participating, it reflects your participative nature, right? And at the end of the day, these big fours or big tens are looking for candidates who are very participative, not just during their school days, in their college days, and even now. So whichever nikasa sikasa events are happening these days, there are lots of conferences around the corner, so you should attend each and every event organized by your nearest ICAI branch, so as to ensure that your participative nature is still reflecting in your CV somewhere. Okay, so the presentation begins at home only. When you are at home, when you are sending your CV or sending your cover letter, you have to make sure that your presentation skills are great at that point of time, right? Now, before the interview, when you're getting calls from the HR, you're having an HR round, you're having this system where you have to communicate via mails. So always make sure you're sending mails with subjects. You are thanking and you are sending your regards at the end. Be professional. It is not mandatory to write long emails. You can send short emails as well, but don't bother the HR so much. Okay. Send the emails during the working hours only. This is how you present yourself, your professionalism. And trust me, professionalism is very attractive when it comes to Big Tens. Okay. Now, when you're in the interview, how you present yourself, there is everything. It is not just your mouth. Before you even speak your mouth, your body speaks for yourself. Okay, the way you are sitting, your posture, your body language, your hand movements. अब सपोज अगर मैं वीडियो आपको ऐसे करके सुनाऊँ, you will not enjoy it. Okay, you will not feel that ये CA Didi है. You will just feel ये ऐवी कोई बोल रहा है, right? So to make that kind of a communication, you have to make sure that your body language is good. Okay, it is precise, it is genuine, and you are wearing proper formal attire. Okay, you are not if you have any tattoos, you should wear something which hides it. Okay, you shouldn't be wearing earrings which are too bulky and they are too gaggy. You should keep your hair tied up in general, but if you have short hair or probably hair till your shoulders or a bit an inch below, definitely you can keep them open, but generally it is suggested to keep your hair shut. Okay, then keep your hair tied up, not shut, keep your hair tied up. Okay, so the formal attire, you should always be dressed up adequately, properly. It should look like हाँ ये बंदा interview देने के लिए आया है. Okay, so to make that kind of an impression and to stand out from the crowd, definitely. Now, if I talk about how you are presenting yourself in the interview, you have to be very vigilant and you have to be very considerate also. You need to speak less and listen more. You have to listen to the questions. You do not have to beat around the bush. You can take a second or two to think about before you're answering. It is not like कि क्वेश्चन आया तुमने एकदम से जवाब दे दिया एंड हड़बड़ी में कुछ आंसर गलत हो गया. Okay, you can take your time. Okay, you can pause for a moment and then answer, but answer right. Okay, do not open your mouth unless you are sure that this is the correct answer. And if you're not aware about the correct answer, you can just simply say that, sir, I don't know the answer to this. Okay, or at the moment, this question surpasses my knowledge of the related subject. Okay, that's how you deal. Now, when you're answering a question, make sure that you're maintaining eye contact. Okay, eye contact is going to help you a lot. It is going to make you showcase as being confident, and you have to be very subtle with your tone. Okay, it shouldn't be very intimidating. Your tone sets the course of your interview. Okay, if you are trying to have a conversation with the interviewer, it will be great. Okay, don't be too excited, don't be too shy. Just keep everything moderate. Okay, you can add the fun element, you can be witty if you want to. Just make sure that it is reciprocated. If it's not reciprocated, you may stop on the pitfall act, I guess. Now, when the interview is over, you might want to ask some questions. So make sure that you are not really bothering the interviewer. You can ask one or two questions. Don't just keep on asking, "ये कैसा होगा, वो कैसे होगा." Just calm down. You will get a lot of opportunities to ask questions from your SPOC, which is the point of contact person for you. Okay, so just ask relevant questions to the interviewer because he is yet to give your feedback, right? So make sure you're not messing up anything right after the interview. Okay, so this point was very elongated. I had planned to break down, but flow mein ho gaya sara. Anyways, the third tip for which you can ace any interview is to always remain confident. Okay. Technically, it is a subset of the previous point, presentation, but I wanted to talk about confidence because it is something which is not just going to make you stand out, it is something which is going to impact the perception of the interviewer in general and the HR, and even the perception of yourself to yourself. Okay, so what happens is when you're presenting yourself, when you are expressing yourself, you must have that kind of confidence that you're maintaining eye contact, you are not stuttering, and you're using good English. I'm not saying to use some fancy words or to use thesaurus words. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is maintain consistency. Okay, how would you feel if if I do that while I talk to you? You won't like that, right? So that is what I'm saying. Good English does not mean that you have to be very affluent with English. No. Good English just means that you're able to express yourself clearly and you're pronouncing the words right so that the communication is not distorted and you're not stuttering. That is something which is important. Okay, so remain calm and remain confident. If you've studied well, everything will fall back into place, and all the questions that are being answered by you, make sure that the confidence is reflected in those answers, right? You have to stay confident till the end of the interview, even if it is a wrong interview, even if you have answered something wrong, even if it is a messed up interview, you messed up pretty bad, doesn't matter. Okay, just stay calm. Things get back to normal. Okay, it takes time. All right. The fourth point, and it is a very general point yet again, is to always be prepared with all of the stuff that you might need in an interview. Okay, they might require you to submit some of the documents, your CA inter mark sheet, your passport size photographs, any of the school, college mark sheets, 10th mark sheet, 12th mark sheet, things like that. Birth certificates are rarely asked, but you can carry. Aadhaar card, PAN card, all these things are mandatory. Although all these things are submitted via the DFMS portal, for EY, I'm sure it is that portal and it is submitted online only. But in cases where having a physical interview, you have to make sure that you are prepared. Okay, you don't want to run at that point of time when they've demanded something and you're calling your parents that please send the photo and I'll just take out a printout somewhere. Okay, don't. Just be well prepared. You're going for an interview, be 10 minutes early, be half an hour early, in fact. Okay, check all your documents one night before, have a good sleep, and do not panic. Okay, be prepared well. Just know that in any interview, what are the common questions that are asked. You can prepare your answers accordingly. What are your strengths, weaknesses? You can prepare that answer. It is asked in any interview these days, and some basic questions. If it's a stat audit interview, you will know what kind of questions are asked from AS and SAs, right? So be prepared. Okay, do not leave anything for the last minute. Be prepared with all the photocopies and your photos, anything that may be asked. Okay, keep them in a transparent file and you're good to go. And the fifth tip to always ace an interview is when you're appearing in an online interview, make sure that your camera is set to a proximity level where your upper body is showing. Okay, the network bandwidth is good, you are audible, you are sitting in a room where there is not much noise, you're sitting in a room when you are not disturbed. I have two doors and nobody's coming out, so you have to sit somewhere where you know that for the next 35-40 minutes I will not be disturbed. Okay, uh, even suppose your interview is at 4 p.m., you should be ready with your system, with your laptop. If you're using any earphones or headphones, they should be ready and tested half an hour prior to everything. You should be very well dressed up, not just from the top, you need to be dressed up fully. You never know when you might have to get up in some emergency. Maybe somebody in your home fell, or something happened, okay, something crazy happened and you have to just run away. You don't want to just get up in an underwear, right? That's something which guys do, but it is a general tip for everybody who is preparing for any of the online interviews. Then please do not use this method that suppose my phone is in front, my laptop is in back, I have opened Google or something and I'm just typing here. Just know that whoever is the HR, she or he is very well trained to read your eyes. They will know when you're reading like this or when you're not maintaining eye contact with them. Okay, so do not make that mistake. Okay, the lighting should be proper. Your voice must be audible. That is another thing how to ace the interviews. And you may think कि दीदी ये तो बहुत general points है, आप कुछ बता नहीं रहे. See, in any interview, we ignore all these things. Okay, we just focus on कि मैंने बोलना क्या है. But please try to understand that in an interview generally, for the 40% part, you don't speak actually, the interviewer speaks, right? So that 40% part where your mouth is not operating, you don't know, but the background, your body gestures, your eye contact, your confidence, the way you've dressed up, everything counts. Okay, and it is not just the interview which is going to impact the interview, it is the before and after and during the interview progress which is going to affect everything. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you liked the video and you're going to use these tips in your interviews. Do let me know how your interviews go, and for more such content you may subscribe to the channel and stay updated for new videos updated every week. And if you have any suggestions for me to make a video about, you can comment down below or mail me at anshikajaiswal2411@gmail.com, or you can message me on LinkedIn and I will be happy to cater to your needs. And thank you once again. Have a good day. Bye bye.